This is Jodine at Hoodie Priestess. I'm going to draw one of these soul cards for you. Now, this is the work of Deborah Koff Chapin, and there's no interpretive book for each of the cards, so you just have to operate intuitively. So when your card comes out, I'm going to show it to you, and I just want you to look at it with your first thoughts. What's the first thing that it makes you think of? Try not to go digging around in your mind finding meaning. Just what is it that's the first thing that comes up? Maybe nothing will come up for you. Or it could be that, a couple days from now, something will happen and you'll be like, oh, that reminds me of that card. Are you ready? All right, here it is. What does that mean for you, Pisces? I don't know if it's something you can write in the comments. I would love that. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what this card meant to you, if it's something that you could say. Tell me if you're going through fire or flood or war or, what's happening around you in your world. So Pisces, I've tried to put a reading on the table for you two times this week. And both times I have elected to take it down. And I've even been recording them and I've deleted them off my phone. I don't know why. Honestly, I really don't. I just felt like, I don't want to post this. I don't want to post this. But there were themes coming up in that reading, and some of them are themes that have been coming up for you for a long time. And that seems like there were three. Okay. One is that some of you Pisces have recently lost a friend who has transitioned, a friend or loved one of some kind, and you're in the process of grieving that. And by the way, I'm sorry for your loss. It's a heartbreaking thing when we lose somebody, and we can't get them back. But we carry them we carry them inside of us. So that's one thing. And then along with that, for some of you, not all of you, so if this isn't your story, it's not your story. But some of you are also feeling particularly judged by another person for the way that you grieve, or how long you grieve, or that you haven't started grieving yet, or whatever it is. So, what the hell? So that was coming up. And then also what was coming up is toxic attachments or toxic relationships with people in our family or friends or co-workers, somebody in our community we're having a toxic attachment with. It's probably a karmic attachment. You guys are probably trying to teach each other lessons. And you know what my belief is, that we had these contracts before we ever came onto the planet. And you're not the only sign going through that, by the way. And it gets to be a really long story, because when you've got a karmic contract with somebody, when groups or families of you have karmic contracts with other groups or families, we're going through it for such a long time, because everybody doesn't go through it on the same timeline. Leo is going through it. Aries is going through it. And I tend, as a tarot reader, and I think other tarot readers too, we start seeing the same story over and over and over again. It can go on for, a few years, actually. And why is that? It's because you don't all go through it at the same time. You're all going to go through it, but on your own individual timeline. So we just have to keep seeing it. So what I'm seeing for Pisces is an old friend, like you guys are like high school friends, or you go way back to childhood. And you guys have known each other for a long time, but you've fallen into a bad patch for a number of years now, and you just keep fighting with each other. And your relationship is kind of like in a state of broken off, but it's also not, because the fight keeps going on. So I saw that again. And and I decided not to post it. So of course, if I decide not to post it, then I'm walking around thinking about it for a few days too. Like, oh, what are we going to do about Pisces reading? And while I'm walking around thinking about it, intuitively, the name of a book goes through my mind. And the name of that book is Codependent No More. And I have to be completely honest with you, Pisces, I have never read this book. I don't know the author's name. I should have looked it up before I hit record. But you can do that too. Honestly, you go look it up. Codependent No More. I don't know if that would be helpful to some of you to read that book. You and your frenemy, Pisces, let's see what we get for you this week. We're going to start with Earthcraft Oracle. For Pisces, please. For Pisces. And you know what? I would prefer not to hear the old stories over again. There's more going on in Pisces' life than these, especially the I'm fighting with my old friend story. And I also feel like saying shit or get off the pot. Honestly, you guys. If you're friends, you're friends. If you're not, you're not. Okay. For Pisces, please. Let's bring a message in for Pisces. What does Pisces really need to know right now? What would be meaningful? Right? Let's see if Earthcraft can tell us something. For Pisces. Forest bathing. Yeah, I am familiar with this. I know it tells you to go, to get out and get in touch with nature. But and it's a number 10, which means it's the alpha and the omega, the ending and the beginning of a cycle. Maybe I know we've had readings for you about being at the end and beginning of cycles and being between two worlds. And that's another theme in Pisces' life right now. What do you do when you're between two worlds? Forest bathing is the practice of spending time surrounded by nature and connecting to the spirits of the forest to find calm, renewed energy, and well-being. Being immersed in nature allows us to feel the restorative healing energy of trees and other sacred plants. They've actually done a study on that. There was an educator in our community who was leading a forest bathing group for women. And they actually have I don't know, there's some kind of particulate or I don't know, ether gas or whatever it is that trees breathe out into the air. And it actually has a positive, scientifically proven effect on human beings and probably other animals too. The restorative healing energy of trees and other sacred plants in our minds, bodies, and souls, away from busy city streets and stressful work days. Mother Earth feeds our senses and spirits in ways that we forget are possible during our everyday lives. If you have pulled this card, it's because your soul is longing for grounded nourishment. And walk barefoot too. If there's a place for you to safely walk barefoot out on the earth, not in your house, walk barefoot on the earth. Self-care is often the first thing we disregard when life becomes overwhelming and the to-do lists pile up. So be mindful of the foods that you eat and how you treat your body. Listen to your body's need to rest when you are tired, to love when you feel desire, and above all, to respect earth that supports you. Seek soul nourishment by being connected with nature and embracing the splendor that is around you. Yeah. Yeah. And you can do that quickly every day too. As you're starting your day, just get up and say, I'm going to focus on nature and what do I have gratitude for in nature? Nature's been at the forefront of a lot of our lives lately. Okay. I'm going to get cards out of the Enchanted Forhaxa. What is it that Pisces needs to focus on right now? Where would Pisces best put their focus right now, please? Where would Pisces best put their focus in this here and now? And by the way, this is a timeless reading. Nine of Fire, the Wounded Warrior card. So this correlates to the Nine of Wands. You're wounded after your battle worn. This could be from fighting, but it could just be from living too. Battle worn from our lives, and yet we still have so much determination. Or you could be walking around bearing a lot of wounds. Another possibility with this card is that you could be feeling like a victim. Leo card, 8, strength, major arcana here. So this is the strength of our character. This is the strength to keep going on, maybe if we are facing a lot of challenges in our life. This is the strength and conviction to be really strong and see things to the end, because that's what this card does. This card never gives up. It sees things to the end. So probably take a certain amount of strength to do that. What else is here? So you may be feeling battle-worn, or just maybe you are feeling like the victim of something in your life, but think of where your strengths are. I'm getting intuitively now. Think of where your strengths are. And if you are facing a certain challenging situation or people or group of people in your life, what is it? What gift is that bringing to you? What is that causing you to call on in your toolbox of skills? What tool are you sharpening or strengthening by dealing with this situation? Because every challenging situation, Pisces, brings us a gift. And sometimes it is so helpful when we feel particularly, Nine of Wands level challenged by something to do the hangman thing and get a different perspective, okay? What is this bringing to my life? And we've got a card here ready to be turned over. But before I get to that, another intuitive flash that I had from doing your past two spreads that I didn't record, that I didn't post. I recorded them, I didn't post them. Dealing with toxic people or dealing with people in your life who you feel are toxic. Here's the question you need to answer, Pisces. What is it about you? And don't get mad at me, but what is it about you that makes that toxic person feel like they have a place in your life? Whatever role they are playing, whether they're bossing you around at work, whether they're talking abusively to you, whether they're taking advantage of your time and your energy, whatever role they're playing in your life, judging you, what is it about you that makes them feel like they can do that? And I think that's a good question to entertain, to sort of get to the bottom. Because at the end of the day, Pisces, we really can't change other people. Even if we think they really need changing. What are we going to do about it, honestly? What's this other card here? It's death. Yeah. You need some transformative change. Radically transformative change. So you're being challenged by something that's requiring all your strength. And maybe you're being stubborn and sticking it out to the end, but think now in your life, what do you need to change? And then I think for some of you, and once again, if this is not your story, it's not your story. But I think for some of you, you really are dealing with like a physical death. Somebody who is very meaningful to you has passed on now. Somebody very near and dear to you. And it's probably causing you more of a ripple effect than you even realize. For some reason, I just get the feeling that it's making you go through your life in levels. And you're hashing a lot of things up while you do that. And I don't know, like picking up a rug and shaking it. And everything that was sitting on that rug has to be moved, and all the chi that had been sunk down into the fibers of that rug has been disrupted and flies into the air. Everything's up for reevaluation, for sorting out, for are we keeping this anymore or are we throwing it? What's on the bottom of the deck here? Chariot. With conviction and force and purpose and decisive will. Move the hell on. So according to the cards on the table, that's the message I see for you as being important right now. There are some things in your life that you need to move on from. And if somebody has recently passed out of your life, they have moved on irrevocably too. So that idea of moving on is prevalent in your life one way or another. Of course it is. Let's draw Urban Crow for you. Urban Crow, tell Pisces what they need to know. Tell Pisces what they need to know, please. Please. For Pisces. Thank you. Observation. Okay, this is the card where the spider could just go, or the crow could just go and pluck that spider and have a meal. But what they're doing is standing back and observing. So there's something that you can gain from not being reactive at this time in your life. If you have this impulse to just jump up and do something or say something, you might be better served right now just to watch instead of doing. And then also, I think this is a card of listening rather than talking. Let me look it up. I feel really familiar with this card, and yet I want to make sure I don't leave out anything important. The crow watches the spider, intrigued by how it catches its meals. The crow could simply pluck that spider right up, but instead it decides to learn a little first. Observation asks that you hold back from reacting and take some time to analyze the situation. There may be something of value that will only reveal itself when given the time. This card may also indicate that you would be better served by being a spectator and staying out of the situation. You will learn more from listening than from talking. Hey, I think I nailed it. Yay for Jodine. Her dementia's not as damn bad as she thinks it is. Okay, Pisces, that's what I have for you. Please take it in good faith. Anything I've said here, if it's been offensive, I only want to be of help. And if I've offended you, write that in the comments. Boy, I just would love to hear from people. And other than that, take care, my dear, until we meet again. Bye-bye.